Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Blooded. This is Dave. Thanks for joining me here again on another Wednesday. We're going to be doing our normal thing and reviewing, once again, some bourbon. Promise that I'll get to some scotch soon, but I've got a lot of bottles of bourbon to get through for you guys. So a couple of you have requested it, so this week we're going to be reviewing the Henry McKenna 10-year-old Bottled and Bond Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So this is about a $30 bottle where I'm at. And it is a Bottled and Bond Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This is barrel number 1712, barreled on 4/23/04. So because it's Bottled and Bond, that means it's at least 100 proof. So this is exactly 100 proof. As you can see here, 50% alcohol by volume. This is a Heaven Hill, here's the back of the bottle. This is a Heaven Hill Distilleries product. So you can see that here, distilled and bottled by Heaven Hill Distilleries Incorporated. So it's about $30. It's got the kind of insignia Bottled and Bond little dollar or Bottled and Bond wrapping here on it. So before we get into this stuff, I'll just kind of hold this here for a minute. Let's talk about Bottled and Bond. There's a lot of products out there that could meet the qualifications of Bottled and Bond that might not stamp Bottled and Bond onto the bottle. So what are a couple that do? Real popular ones are this and like Colonel Taylor. They are Bottled and Bond. Their products are Bottled and Bond. So Bottled and Bond, it simply means, I think in the late 1800s, they had some problems with kind of people calling things bourbon or getting away from I'm sorry, not bourbon, but getting away from like the adult, like American whiskey, and kind of like, you know, places that were imitating American whiskey. So Bottled and Bond was passed, from what I understand, as a way to basically keep up with taxes better. So they could tax this stuff easier and keep records of it easier, and know who's making whiskey, bourbon. They have a better record of American whiskey so that they can tax it easier. But because of that, if you wanted to bottle and bond, then you could stamp this on there, and it was kind of a term of endearment. It was like a sign of quality, basically, that hey, you've met the standards. So what are the standards? Let's go through those real quick. So to be labeled as a Bottled and Bond, the liquor must be produced in one season. So like a calendar year, basically, at one distillery. So one season, one distillery. And then aged in a bonded warehouse, so federally bonded warehouse, under supervision, basically, for 4 years, which, normal seasoning period. So 4 years. And then when they bottle, like I talked about a second ago with this bottle, has to be 100 proof or higher. At least 100 proof, which is exactly 50% alcohol by volume. So that's the essentials, of the high level of what Bottled and Bond means. So why is that a good thing? Nowadays, probably not a huge difference because, like I mentioned, there's probably a lot of bourbons and whiskeys out there that meet these standards that don't actually stamp it on the bottle. But it just, it's at least those standards, at least 100 proof. It is, one distiller, one distillery, one season, it gives you a good idea of what you're buying. So, for $30 though, this is what we get. Pretty terribly ugly bottle, if I might say so myself. Maybe that's because I don't like green and white because I went to Michigan and I don't like Michigan State. So maybe that's why, even though 2 members of my family went to Michigan and about 20 of them went to Michigan State. So maybe that's why I don't like it, is because it's green and white, green and off-white. But I'm just kidding. I don't like the bottle. I just think it's kind of cheesy looking. It's kind of old school looking, which is cool. So let's do our thing. Try to get this done in a couple more minutes here and not keep you guys too long tonight. Let's pour it, color it, nose it, taste it, score it, get on our way so you can drink whatever it is you're drinking tonight. I hope you're having something. If you guys don't crack open one of these things while you're watching my videos, you're doing it wrong, by the way. I'm not saying I get on here and drink my my liver out, but you guys should at least enjoy something nice while you're trying this. If you see the title, and you see that I'm reviewing like a Henry McKenna or an Elijah Craig or whatever, and you have that bottle at your house, you should absolutely be opening the same thing and trying it as I taste it. So you kind of make that connection like we were sitting across from each other, trying a whiskey and sharing our notes on it. Because that's what whiskey's all about. Having people over, trying your stuff, talking about it, enjoying it, talking about the history, talking about things you did or didn't know about whiskey. That's what this stuff is about. This is why people love this, is because it brings people together. It makes people social that aren't normally social. I would say most of us bourbon drinkers are pretty antisocial people. That's what I've actually learned, is that a lot of us are fairly antisocial people. But when we get to something like whiskey or, you know, guns, for example, cars, collectible things, and we get to a passion, even the most antisocial person can socialize. So that's my you know, what would we call that? That's my phrase for the day. Not my phrase, but that's my philosophical tip for the day. So here I'm just stirring it around a little bit before we know is it, opening it up a little bit. I haven't really tried much of this. It's just kind of sat there. So I'm opening it up. I do this from time to time. I've tried this twice before, and I do remember it needing a little time to open up and get a tad better. So we're doing that. We're speeding up that process here a little bit. I don't, you know, do this with all mine. I don't air all my whiskeys, but this one I'm going to. So let's smell it. Oh, the color. Sorry about that, guys. Grab a piece of paper, which is what I'm doing. There we go. Pretty good color, right? You can tell it's a 10-year whiskey. It's darker, but it's not super light, but it's dark enough. It smells of a high alcohol content. It's 50% alcohol, 100 proof. It should. High alcohol. Some good fruit. Tiny bit of oak. And some cinnamon, and that's about it. Actually, the cinnamon really hits your nose as you let it sit there for a second. So let's try it. Cheers. Now everyone does what I did a little bit differently. Some people hold it longer, some swish it, some chew it, as they call it. We've all got our own thing. Whatever gets the most flavor out of it for you, or to your level, then that's what you want to do. This one's got a good burn to it. So I would say that right up front, it's a tiny, tiny bit of butterscotch, but then it's just followed right by the nose. A lot of cinnamon and spice. A lot of those fruit notes, like the darker, punchier, spicier fruits. Clove, lots of clove, maybe some nutmeg, and those real pulling flavors. Not a lot of fruit. So I would say this is probably low on the rye content, at least as far as the fruit taste goes. So, you know, not a lot of fruit, more of just those spicier, tobacco-y, pulling spices. When I say pulling, I'm thinking like maybe smacking is the word I'm looking at. They're kind of smacking you with it. You know, lots of spice, lots of, not a ton of oak, a good amount of oak for that 10-year. It tastes like a 10-year. It tastes like an 8 to 10-year whiskey would. But it's more of that spiciness. It's almost overly spicy when I taste it. It's almost like too much char, maybe, or too much age for this mash. I don't know. Not enough of those characteristic sweet, you know, bourbons with corn. So not enough of those sweet characteristics, the caramel and the toffee and stuff. It's got some caramel and toffee notes, very, very light caramel and toffee notes, but I'm mainly getting those spicy notes. And it's good, but this is not my favorite. But for $30, that's going to help. Anything for 30 is good. But I'll take an Eagle Rare over this. No offense, guys. I'll take an Eagle Rare over this every single day. So I'm going to give this one an 84 out of 100. 84 out of 100. So this is Henry McKenna, 10-year-old. 84 out of 100. $30 for the bottle. Buy maybe 1 or 2 of them. And just keep them around. They're not bad bottles at all. Oh my God, I went to 10.5 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. Went a little longer than I wanted. I'm not going to take requests for next week because I have something special. I don't want to ruin it for you guys. And you know what? It's a special, and the rating's not going to be that good. So it's something that you guys are probably wanting me to review, but I didn't like it. So it'll be a different kind of video next week. But this is the Henry McKenna 10-year-old. 84 out of 100. Like I said, 1 to 2 bottles, but you should do your Eagle Rares first before you get this, if that's the only thing you're going to buy. So if you guys have any comments, any questions, concerns, requests, anything that you guys are looking for, comment section below, as well as private messages, visit the website, do the normal thing. So thanks, guys. Thanks so much for watching today. Look forward to next week. This weekend's pretty slow for me, so you're going to get some kind of weekend video, whether it's we're doing a rye review, or I'm going to make a cocktail for you, or maybe just a little bit of a weekend vlog. So I'm going to put something out for you guys this weekend. Not sure what yet, not sure what day, so I'm not promising anything yet, but keep an eye out. And thanks again for joining, and I will see you guys this weekend and next week. Have a good one.